let's face it, these 12 weeks ain't been easy.
I spoke with SJ on Monday and just realized that, I feel like I had one foot in one arena and then another foot in another arena, and I wasn't like fully focused on what I truly wanted. And it had to do with like fear and not really sure like what would happen if I just like went full in. So again, I was focusing on like HR stuff, employee engagement stuff, which I'm good at. Like I can do that, the education for it, but it's just not what my passion is. My goal is I'm working towards trying to be like a Flow from Progressive. That's like my goal. So I can just be the on air or, I don't know, like reoccurring like commercials and stuff for a major brand. That's what I'm trying to work towards. Like,
so keep looking at those companies that are playing in that sandbox.
Yeah.
So we talked way back when we said King 5, which is a local news station.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a good relationship with them too.
I think you should be reaching out to them this week for sure.
Okay.
And I think you should be thinking about a lot of different ways that you can help them. I want you to have those targets, because without the target, Marley, you're not shooting at anything.
I met a woman who was a recruiter who connected me with a friend of hers here in Woodacre, who I just had a meeting with, and actually was why I was like a little late to this. And she's like, I feel bonded with her already. She's like, she works with like multiple production companies around the Bay, is like told me what my rates should be, like where I would fit into the industry, is like connecting me with a director of photography here that I can like learn and study under basically. And is, effectively in one meeting, doubling my rate as a freelancer and like kind of going to plug me into the kind of filmmaking stream around here, which is what I've been like trying to do.
Oh my gosh, Ryan, it's wonderful. So I think having learned how to network, how to talk with people, how to develop those relationships, that's fantastic that you're now taking that and you're putting it throughout your life. And that's what I mean. The jobs will come from the personal relationships.
Last week was very productive. Tomorrow I have a couple of meetings with a few LinkedIn connections, one being a producer on CBN and another one from who works for the Bank of America headquarters. So yeah, I really did see that change when I changed my LinkedIn and repackaged myself.
You had a different experience, which was kind of dialing it back, similar to Marley, dialing things back and saying, what do I really want to do? Taylor, you came to that same conclusion. I don't know when it was, but I think it would be good for everyone to kind of see.
Oh, my week was it was a little bit hectic. I had a meeting with a VA representative with vocational rehabilitation. I also had a meeting with the Idaho State service representatives.
So my question would be, Jeremy, to this friend of yours who oversees this group, would be, who's the next person who's up for retirement?
Absolutely, and as we talked about a little bit ago, I'm going to meet with him. I'm gonna at least send him an email or talk to him personally.
Yeah.
Probably once a month, just to see if anybody is
who's up for retirement. We're going to look for additional consulting opportunities for you for sure. I know we want you over at Super Purposes. We're going to continue to work with you, not only until you get the job and salary that you deserve, but really
see Ryan down there
for the rest of your lives. Just know that we're always going to be in your corner. and we just really appreciate you. And I personally have loved working with you. Really have.
This has been a crazy 12 weeks, but probably some of the best 12 weeks ever because it
Yeah, it was
has,
good.
yeah,
Very informative.
stretched me. And but it's been so nice meeting you all, and I hope that again, it's not like the end. We still are connected in some type of a way.
I would just say it was nice like meeting you all. I'm glad like I was a part of a community while doing this, and just having some support and just knowing that I'm not alone in this. But it's been very real, guys. And
Very
like,
real.
and positive. So I'm glad that I was with you all during this experience.
Yeah, it's just been wonderful to meet you guys. This whole 12 weeks has been super transformative. I mean, I think a lot of the program, it just sort of coaxed me out of my comfort zone where I was comfortable. And I am very hopeful for the future. And I will gladly check back in and hopefully report that I'm making tons of money and
The cast's first diaries.
So one of the obstacles that I'm overcoming, that is like the hardest obstacle I'm overcoming currently, is just being able to break away from complacency and just a place of familiarities. So, in case I do get a position where I would have to relocate, like out of state or something like that, even though I love my family and I'll miss them, I'm just trying to break out of that familiarity so I can, expose myself to more and progress more in life. So I don't hold myself back by being fearful. The obstacle that I've overcome is just being closed-minded. Again, as growing up, I was born and raised in a small town. The people around me, they were comfortable with where they were. I didn't want to find myself slipping into that, which I kind of did. So that's why now I'm trying to break away from that, because it's a mindset. So I'm just trying to, expose my mind, expand my mind, with different things, different people, different cultures. And, that's what I think I'm doing now. I'm overcoming complacency, like I mentioned, and just, wanting to get out there. Some last things I want to mention is, don't give up, don't be faint at heart, keep pushing. I hope you enjoyed some of my takes on what I do in modeling. I hope that inspires you to, pursue your passions, and maybe also to blend your passions into your work life. So I hope, my journey here is inspiring you to take that step forward into what you really love to do.
All right, so my first question for you today is, what are some of the most important communities you have been or are currently a part of, and how did you become a part of them?
The most important communities in my life that I'm part of are obviously my church. It's changed my life. I kind of came into that in high school, my senior year, because just met some really good friends that provided really good examples to me, and I wanted part of what they had. And then the other primary communities that are a major part of my life are the military, most importantly the Marine Corps, and and veterans, and the veteran community.
How did the 6th week go for you?
The 6th week went pretty well for me. I just was working on creating meetings with people from the organizations that I want to work with. I haven't gotten any responses yet, but hopefully I'll hear back from a couple of them soon.
All right, so my last question for you today is, what was something SJ said that really stuck with you this week?
Like I said, it's tough for me to do, but I know that I need to do it, and I can't. Nobody is a success all on their own. I mean, if you look anywhere, nobody makes it there on their own. So I need to realize that, and I need to reach out a lot more often than I do currently.
Here's the first question I have for you.
Okay.
What are some of the most important communities you have been or currently are a part of?
What are some of the most important communities that I've been a part of? I mean, I was part of an art community. I love them. I still love them. They're amazing, like, creative individuals. Unfortunately, that was like when I was in sort of the worst part of my disease. So I don't know. It's kind of that's kind of a tricky, one to talk about in at least in my mind. Beyond that, I think, being an alumni of the London Film School, something that I put on my sort of about me page. So being, an alumni there. Although again, I don't feel like I'm part of a community there. Most recently, I think, just networking, making friends out here in San Francisco. I think I mentioned before in previous interviews that I'd met some comedians, and we're gonna film some sketch comedy, and there's no promise of money, but it's they're like-minded people, sort of filmmakers in the Bay Area, so I think it'll be good socially, and it's fun at this point to be part of that group.
How did the 6th week go for you? What did you learn this week?
How did my 6th week go? And my 6th week went really well. I did a lot of reaching out to people, and you get sort of mixed results reaching back from people. But I think, I shot a lot more B-roll. I had a lot more time this week to really focus on super purposes. So yeah, I think I've reached out to a lot of people. I think week 5 and week 6 start to sort of blend together. Like I'm still kind of researching companies and exploring who to reach out to. So there was a little of that going on too.
Last question I have for you. What was something SJ said that really stuck with you?
What was something that SJ said that really stuck with me? She said so many things. The shepherd, be the shepherd, not the sheep, was definitely sort of the theme, sort of the catchphrase of the week. I think, though, more was at the beginning of the week when I had my meeting with her, and we kind of, I set intentions. I think there's something to that. I know professionals, corporate people, my dad really believe heavily in the idea of writing down goals, short-term to long-term goals, and as you write them down, there's something to that. So I've kind of merged that with my intention setting, and so the intention for this week was to turn connections on LinkedIn into meetings, and that was something that SJ and I had discussed. I don't know that there was a specific thing that was said other than turn connections into meetings, but that stuck with me all week. That was the intention.
What's been one of the hardest obstacles you've overcome or are currently overcoming right now?
What's one of the hardest obstacles that I am overcoming right now? I would say one of the hardest obstacles I'm overcoming is just getting everything organized, getting everything, basically just getting everything organized in my mind at ease, because I feel like I have been running on 100 for the past week, and I just don't want to fall out. But so far so good. I'm still standing and I'm still conquering every obstacle. Hopefully that makes sense.
What was your work ethic as a child? Like, were you the kid that like had a lemonade stand, or like had to do chores around the house, or like what was that as in your childhood?
All right, what was my work ethic in my childhood? My work ethic in my childhood, I would say that I did always want to do well. I wanted to have great grades. I actually, yeah, I wanted to have good grades. I wanted to participate in things. I wanted to do well in general. I was shy at times, but in the end, I was someone that was listened very well. Like, I would say I was a good child. Like, I didn't really get in trouble very much. I listened to what my mom said. I cleaned when she told me to clean. So I guess I was more of like the straight and narrow child, basically, that wanted to achieve well and, I don't know, kind of be the teacher's pet at certain times too. I don't like to admit that now, but yeah, I guess that's how I was as a child. It's weird that when I'm thinking, like, talking about this and thinking back on it, I'm like, oh yeah, that's kind of who I was, but I didn't realize that's the type of kid that I was until now.
Okay, I have just one last question for you. What was your first impression of SJ?
What was my first impression of SJ? My first impression was she's a pretty cool person. Like, I like her a lot. Like, I really, really like her. I like how she's affirming, and that affirming aspect of her put me like at ease and like really comforted me, if that makes sense. So yeah, my first impression of SJ was she was a genuine person. I really liked her, and I was just really excited to work with her and kind of honored to be able to work with her and be in this process.
SJ and the cast's epilogue.
Tell me, what has happened? It's been, we're almost going on a year.
Really?
I think we finished filming at the end of April, May.
Okay. Yeah.
And now we're at the end of February. So what has happened in your life since?
So what's happened? I mean, like the kind of the short version, like the sort of elevator pitch version was I got connected with a company that I had been talking to like during the program, Super Purposes, and Tracy kind of signed me on as a contractor for Ripple Makers. And I had done a bunch of work with that, and then, you know, putting together my demo reel, my website, and kind of diving into various different like job hunting networks.
Mm-hmm.
A post-production supervisor from LA, Susie, found me and reached out to be an assistant editor for Calm. And it was a great like opportunity, and I'm still doing that actually. So I left Ripple Makers, went to Calm, and I'm like contracting for them. I don't have a full-time employment, but you know, I'm actually pretty close to hitting that benchmark that you know, we talked about, like the 80K per year.
Yeah.
Not quite there yet, but it's looking good. It's looking good. Like I'm actually kind of networking within that company now, and I am, you know, I'm actually just about to move on to my second contract with them. It's looking good for a third right after that, but the hope is full-time employment, and you know, and the work is great because it's not, you know, outside of my wheelhouse. It's remote. I'm actually, yeah, I've started a relationship with somebody over. She lives in Minneapolis. So like the nature of the future and like remote working just sort of opens up America to to me to wherever I want to be, and yeah.
Congratulations. It's wonderful. And I love Calm.
I love Calm. I do
What
too.
an awesome app.
I really believe in like what they do and like the work and like the product that we're producing. So like I'm really very hopeful that, we produce this show and more, and I could see myself staying with this company for a long time.
What are you doing now?
Yeah, so what I've always been doing, but it's on steroids. So there has been major growth. Of course, I'm growing, I'm learning, just, trying to stay productive during the pandemic. I'm doing a lot of more production projects, not only on the talent side of things, but also the production side. I got an opportunity to assist production for a major network, which was very exciting. And, around the area I'm in South Carolina, so I didn't have to travel far. Doing a lot of commercials, different things like that. So it's like the talent side of things are growing tremendously. My network has grown too. So I took, your advice and all that with networking, making those warm connections, and I'm seeing it pay off. So that's just, a little bit that I'm doing.
Oh, I'm so happy for you and excited for you because it's so different from where we first started, you working in insurance.
Yes, it's been like a whole evolution.
And can you share with me the transformation between I'm an insurance person to where you are now? Like, how has that kind of transpired?
Yeah, so I feel happier, because I'm doing something I love, so it doesn't feel like work for me. With insurance, I was able to help people, but that wasn't where my passion lied. So
Yeah.
just taking those gems that I learned from being an insurance agent and just translating it into this industry of entertainment when it comes to communication and things like that. That's what.
Oh, Taylor, I'm so happy for you. That's wonderful.
Thank you, and thank you for helping.
My pleasure. It's our pleasure. I want to hear everything.
Okay. Yeah. After our last meeting, I was kind of like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to pursue, acting, influencer stuff, YouTubing stuff. And it was going good and everything, but I've still it was inconsistent. I was in school, so it was like, why waste my education on, why not pursue my education, right? So basically, I was just kind of looking for HR positions because I positioned myself for the HR role, and I would get to maybe the third interview and they would tell me no, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, what is happening? But it was crazy because one day I was on LinkedIn and I got a message, and someone reached out to me from the place I'm working now. Again, I don't know if I can say, but sometimes they're a little strict, so I'll just keep it at that. They reached out to me and they said, hey, are you interested in this position? We think you'd be perfect, da-da-da. And I was like, hold on, is this real life? This can't be real, because it was literally my dream job. Everything we talked about throughout this whole process, that's exactly what the job entailed. And it's so insane. I let fear sink in a little bit, I'm not gonna lie, and that's a whole nother story that I don't even feel like going into. But long story short, went through the interview process, got an offer, which was more than I've ever made in my entire life, which is still insane. Able to work from home for the most part. Probably have to go in the office hybrid later on this year, but that's not a problem. And now I'm working my dream job. I've been here for 2 months. It's insane. I absolutely love the job. I wake up in the morning saying I am super excited to work here. I enjoy the people I work with. I enjoy the job duties, everything. It's like I still can't believe it, but it's actually happening and it's true. It was, well, let me say, it was the perfect time. Like it really was. And even going through this process and fixing up my LinkedIn, putting up my heading, making sure my education looked like it was, all of that was what helped me get this job, because that's what they found before. They were like, hey, we're looking for someone with coaching background. Oh, you have a master's in positive coaching? No one else has that. We need you on the team, you know? And so it's like, wow, it all worked out.
So tell me, what is going on in your life right now?
Just trying to find work still. I was working for Costco for last 6 months or so, but it was a seasonal position, and for some reason, even though I was the number one seasonal worker, they decided to bring other people back instead of me, which I understand. Maybe they were intimidated by my education or something like that. But yeah, some of these people they brought back were awful, and
Oh,
and I was the number one seasonal person. I got moved around more than anybody. I did more jobs than anybody else. I picked up shifts that weren't even mine, not like on minutes notice, and yeah, they still brought other people back. You know, I worked my butt off, and I, like I said, I was everybody figured I'd be in the number one spot, and when I went and talked to one of the managers about it, he says, "Well, everybody gets put on a list with all the managers, and the managers rank everybody, and then we bring back people that are ranked." And I said, "And I didn't make the first tier?" And he says, "Well, with a lot of us, you did." And I said, "Well, why not everybody?" I said, everybody else that works here keeps asking why I'm not back, except for the managers, it seems. I said, that's absolutely ridiculous.
hired heroes. I still keep going back to them.
They pushed me out.
I know.
That position that I didn't get came available again, and they didn't even interview me for it.
I know. And it's troubling, right? And here's something that I was thinking is, what if I would love to get the people who you met with there, I would love to get their names so I can LinkedIn with them.
Mm-hmm.
I want to send them our documentary.
Okay.
And I want to tell them that you're in it, and that because of that, so are they.
Okay.
And how would they like the end of this story to come to conclusion?
Another company I got my eye on.
Okay, who is it?
Ambius, they're great.
The one place that we were looking at, I think last week. I don't ever remember the name, but it's like the Echo Bio.
Earthship Biotech.
Do you have another company? Because you've got two now: Earthship Biotech, Ambius. Anything else?
Botanical Gardens here in Chicago. Laughter, humor, it's the best medicine, and it's free. I would say, yeah, a joke. Make them laugh is a great way for me to create a sense of comfort amongst people that I meet, for the first time. And I think that is a great way to break the ice.
And I'm tired of living by necessity.
It is exhausting.
It's killing me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just want my time.
SJ's personal epilogue on the cast.
that was really frustrating about Taylor's indecisiveness about her career was it took her quite a long time to go from, I want to work in insurance, before she wanted to then maybe work in marketing. And then she transitioned into, she wanted to either be in front of the camera or work on production. I think just as human beings, sometimes we take a long time to get to where where our heart lives. And because of that, we'll take a lot of detours. We'll go a lot of different places before we finally land on, oh my gosh, I love doing that. That's what I want to do. Eureka. And that's what we found with Taylor. She was a little slow to get there, but she got there. She got there. So since the docuseries, Taylor has gone on to work on productions. She continues to do a lot of modeling. I think she is more decisive now about where she wants to work, the sort of environment, the people, and she's made networking one of her primary learning lessons from what we taught her. I expect to see a lot of Taylor in the future, for sure, whether it's in front of the camera or behind the camera. I took a serious shine to Ryan for a lot of different reasons. One in particular is that we both bonded on our sobriety. And because we talked in a lot of depth about having, previously, for me, it was alcohol. For Ryan, I think it was probably a combo platter of his couple things. But when we had that meeting, we were really on the same page about how we wanted a different life. And I am incredibly proud of Ryan and what he's creating. He's kind of fun and funny. He doesn't necessarily like to be in front of the camera. And if truth be told, that's the same for me too, although you wouldn't know it unless you asked me. So there were so many areas that we really, there were a lot of similarities, and Ryan was really fast to understand a concept. So I took a big shine to him for sure. So today, Ryan is working for Calm, which is a enormous app that allows people to connect with their calmer side, whether it's getting to sleep, focused concentration, renewed energy, overcoming anxiety and stress. It's one of my favorite apps on my phone. I use it every night to go to sleep. So I highly recommend it, but Ryan's been working with them. He loves his job. He has somebody special in his life, in a relationship. It's kind of like when we met him, it was the perfect time that all of these things started to come together. He's making more money now than ever before. We're really proud of Ryan and his results. Marley had she had a sticking point that she kept repeating over and over and over again. And that was, I think, her fear of being uncomfortable. She just would get stuck on, she wasn't able to send a message, or she wasn't able to pick up the phone and make the call. And once when she got over it, she was like, that wasn't so difficult. And then she practiced it more and she became more comfortable with it. And it's really astonishing. The change that I have seen in Marley has just been amazing. I consider Marley also a friend. She lives here in Seattle. I live in Seattle. So we get together every once in a while. We've developed a friendship after the series, and I'm really, really impressed and proud of her. The most exciting thing that's happened to Marley is her and her husband, Anthony, were featured on the Drew Barrymore show. They have a company called a YouTube channel called Traveling While Black in Seattle. And they were featured on that show. And it was just awesome to see her and to see, you know, her husband working together on this YouTube channel they've been building for a while. But all of this has come along with her getting over being uncomfortable. So she was able to get the deals done, make the phone calls, and it's pretty exciting. She's a star. There is a lot of discrimination that's happening in the military. So if we think about when people come out of the military and they go to become a civilian, they will often not translate very well from military to, you know, hey, now I'm just, you know, a regular person trying to get a job. And I think because of that, because of the discrimination that happens, Jeremy was one of those people that keeps falling into that trap. Jeremy has a very specific way that he speaks. Because of that, I think that people interpret his speech pattern for possibly having a traumatic brain injury. We talked about it several times during the docuseries because it kept coming up at interviews where people would ask him, you know, Jeremy, why do you have this speech pattern, or why are you slow to answer? And Jeremy, you know, continued to say it's not a problem, but I think people will still make a decision upon what they see. I also think that we had an opportunity for Jeremy to work with us at Super Purposes. And he had a lot of life things happen, and we never really heard back from him. So that, you know, I think that's another component to why things weren't happening for him. I'm hopeful we continue to, you know, talk with Jeremy, and we love him and will forever be in his corner and helping him on his job search. But Jeremy is in a tough situation that he's 10 years really not working in his field of expertise with having a PhD. It's really incredible and in some ways very, very sad. So what we're doing about it is every month I'm reaching out to different organizations. One in particular I've reached out to several times, which is Hired Heroes. And we haven't heard back from them. But I'm hopeful that by the time this docuseries comes out, we'll be able to slip in some good news and say that, you know, we've secured him an opportunity. At the end of the day, you know, it's a tough situation because very often the organizations that are in place to help military people, veterans, people who are transitioning out of the military, they also have a challenge of how do we take this massive amount of people and help them secure a job. That's why private employers, companies, organizations, every single person should be thinking about hiring a veteran. Unfortunately, we've not heard or seen Zach since the last episode of him being in our docuseries. We've reached out to him many times and we just haven't heard. So we're hopeful, though, that we always keep the door open for people who maybe aren't ready. And Zach had a lot going on in his life at the time. So hopefully in the future, you know, he'll come back around and we'll be able to help him. Our greatest wish for Zach is to, he already knows what he wants to do. He wants to work with plants. He wants to own a cafe someday. So our greatest wish for Zach is to help him get there. I think one of the challenges that Zach will continue to have is just, some of the basic business skills of showing up on time and keeping your promises. And so our greatest hope is that he will overcome those and come back and work with us so we can help him get the salary and the job he deserves.
The Cass Epilogue Diaries.
What do you believe it takes to achieve in your career or your career goals?
What do I think it takes to achieve my career goals? What I think it takes to achieve my career goals is determination, vision, and being a little uncomfortable in the process as well.
Awesome. What steps are you taking to achieve your career goals currently?
Okay, what steps am I taking to achieve my career goals? Well, I definitely am on LinkedIn, so my LinkedIn profile looks top of the line, and it's kind of positioned me to find the career that is my dream career, the career that I want to be in. What else? I'm also just networking with individuals, answering my LinkedIn messages, and applying to positions that I know will be the position that I want to do in the future.
So what are you currently doing, as a career?
So what is my current career? So currently my career is as a goals coach for a large organization. It is my dream job, so I'm able to help the organization's clients, employees, and non-clients eventually with their goals and dreams.
Awesome. And then lastly, just if you have anything that you feel like you want to say in particular, any thoughts about really anything, this is a moment for you.
Okay. For final thoughts, I'm really thankful for SJ. I'm thankful for the program and the team, everyone, because I'm able to do my dream job. I'm making more money than I've ever made in my entire life, and I see a path forward, and I see I could just I was telling SJ this, I can just relax now. I don't have to keep striving for more and scratching my way to the top. I can just finally just say, I'm in the career I want to be in right now. I'm in the right place right now, and I can just work, and that's it. And it's been a long time since I've been able to say that. So I'm just, I'm thankful. I'm excited for the future, and that's really it.
So what do you believe it takes to achieve your career goals?
What I believe it takes to achieve one's career goals is, first of all, to have the willingness to do so, the desire within yourself. Make sure it's not something that, someone is projecting on you, but make sure it's within yourself first. Have that willingness, and then the fortitude to, go after it and actually achieve it. I like to say, to be a goal setter, you need to set the goal and then go get the goal. But I think it's the willingness and the fortitude, and also the awareness of the process that it will take to achieve one's career goals to actually get to that destination.
What steps are you currently taking to achieve your goals?
Steps I'm currently taking to achieve my goals are putting in some type of work that will help propel that. So whether that's me taking an hour or a couple of hours, just making sure I'm putting something to add to the pot, which is, my career goals. Just some type of work being put towards it. That's what I'm, trying to do every day.
Do you have anything specific that you've been doing?
Very great question. Well, for instance, something specific I'm doing, I'm a part of the entertainment industry, so I actively go out and look up casting calls. I submit myself directly. I network with producers, directors, other talent, casting agencies every day. It doesn't matter. I know I'm going to do it every day. And I not only do it once a day, but throughout the day because it's very important. I like to say, the early bird, catches the worm.
Is there anything like you want to say, like in particular, that you don't feel like you've gotten to talk about that you feel is important?
I've been saying this throughout, probably just make sure that you're staying true to yourself. I mean, don't settle for anything. Just realize that things take a process and just be open to the process, because when you do the necessary work, you get the desired results. I mean, I can go on and on with the different, like SJ like to say, wisdom sayings and different stuff, but I just want to encourage people just to keep moving forward, whether that's a little step or a big step. As long as you're taking steps towards your goal, you have something to live for. That's all that matters. That's all I have to say.
What do you believe it takes to achieve your career goals?
That's a kind of a loaded question. I think in order to achieve your career goals, not only do you need to put forth a lot of personal effort, but it seems to me that these days you need a lot of help, because without well, it depends on what you're aspiring to do, I suppose, but if you're aspiring to work in a certain field, if you have no assistance to gain access to that field, it's nearly impossible, such as government, etc. And so that's where I'm having my major struggle right now is networking.
How do you leverage like past relationships as far as searching for your new career and working towards that?
I think that past relationships is what it's all about. Well, past and future relationships, really, because at least it's such a niche field that I'm trying to get into, that if you don't know the right people, if you don't have the relationships with the right people, it doesn't matter how educated you are or intelligent you are, because your effort is pointless without having the right people to help you venture into the field.
And then lastly, is just is there anything you would like to say that no one has asked you during this whole process, or is there anything you want to say to people?
Oh no, this process, I pretty much said everything with it. This process has been awesome. It's been great to see from the HR side what's really going on behind the scenes and things like that, and what people are looking for in order to find the right people. But like I said, I'm in such a niche field that I just gotta continue to push forward and find and meet the right people, or else I gotta change my field, because it's such a small community that you gotta know the right people to get into it.
First question, what was the greatest lesson you learned during the 12 weeks of the coaching program with Super Purposes /SJ?
What was the greatest lesson that I learned over the 12 weeks in the program working with SJ? It was to learn the practice of networking, to like get good at networking, to appreciate the value of networking, and to kind of, I think, realize that networking is a practice that is never finished. It's constantly changing and evolving and growing as one does, as myself does.
How did you apply it, or did you apply it to get your current job?
Did I apply to get my current job? I interviewed for it. Yeah, I interviewed a couple times with the post-production supervisor. She found me through Staff Me Up, actually. It's interesting that it worked up here in San Francisco. I would have thought that it only worked down in LA, but did I even apply to it? I think I had. Again, it was one of those lessons that you learn from the program. Like, I had got all my ducks in a row. I had my resume, my demo reel, my kind of shop front out there on a bunch of different platforms, and she found me and, you know, asked if I'd be interested in the position. I said yes. I went through an interview process. You know, I expressed a lot of interest in getting the position, and then I crossed my fingers and I made the short list, did a second interview, and here I am today.
Can you describe or tell us about your position right now?
My position is currently, I'm a contractor, contracted assistant editor at Calm, the app. And it's great. I feel like personally, crossing my fingers that this is going to grow into a bigger position for me, a more solid position, but I'm not worried too much about that right now, because it all feels like it's going in the right direction. It's all headed to that direction. I have a feeling in my heart about SJ and Super Purposes, and I'm trying to find the words to fit it, and really it is thank you for all the support and the guidance that you personally, SJ, have given me. I think the encouragement went a long way in just getting me to get all those tasks lined up and in the right place, so that I could take advantage of the opportunities that came my way. It's one thing to like have an education and like connect with job hunters, job recruiters, but it's another thing to be ready to accept and receive that. And so through the process of you guiding me there, through us connecting as friends around, job hunting, job searching, AA, dating even, I really owe you a lot, SJ. Thank you so much.
And you are not going to ask for a job.
No, of course not. I don't just want a job. What are you? No.
Let's get going. Okay.
All right, he's gone now.
Yep. Well, this should be interesting tonight.
Now, the biggest challenge is just trying to get through the awkwardness of trying to get your first contact, sending out messages, not really feeling like you're getting in touch with people. Maybe just patience. Maybe that's a big challenge for me. So this has just been it's a unique experience, because when I send a message, I don't hear anything back. It's just like, am I even talking to the person I think I'm talking to?
I just want to be with the right people, the right energy to be around every day. Yeah, there's like a saying that says, like, if the shoe fits, wear it. Well, I don't really like that term. Like, there's a lot of shoes that fit me that I could wear, but they don't look good on me.